like outside.
Whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, a couple of mishaps happened, like me breaking the motor controller. So we don't. The electrical side of the motor controller of the motor the electrical side of the system doesn't really work anymore. So we just so right now the air generator is hooked directly up to the electric motor on the back of the scooter just to demonstrate that the generator works and that the air system also works. So he just has to flip a valve and let it go.
It's just a little on-off valve.
Yeah, it'll hopefully. Yeah, it should. Yeah, we just have to steer it around a little bit.
Don't hit that finger.
What would happen if someone hopped on it?
It likely wouldn't support the
There we go. There we go. That was the majority of that air tank right there. Gone. It can go a little bit farther if you let it open again.
chalk up to budget limitations.
Yeah, but it's pretty limited because of how small the air tank is. And also, I believe, I don't remember if we mentioned it, but the valve here actually regulates the pressure too much. This valve regulates the pressure down to, what, 120 psi?
Yeah.
And it needs to be more like 200. But we don't have a valve on hand that can do that right now.
What was the pressure you started with in the tank?
The air tanks have a pressure of 3,000 psi.
That's what you started with here?
It starts with 3,000. Goes away quick.
But you're driving that without a battery, so that's
No
just
batteries
raw
involved
power.
at the moment. Yeah, that's straight from the generator right into the electric motor.
It'll blow off.
Yes, the lower pressure that I was talking about from the regulator is why it was going so slow. If it had been able to regulate it at a higher pressure, it probably would have gone faster and also would have run out of air quicker. Are there any questions?
And so where would the motor controller, if it wasn't working, how would that fit into the...
If the motor controller was working, this would all, the battery would be in parallel with the electric generator, and the controller would be in between the motor and the battery and generator system.
So you did a back of the envelope calculation where you showed that theoretically air actually has more energy per
It has more energy
unit,
density, yeah.
more energy density than a battery.
Again, it's worth noting that for that calculation we use the scuba tank, which is about, bigger.
It's a bit bigger.
So based on your calculations, if you did have the scuba tank, how long would you be able to run it for?
You could probably get it to run for, I mean, this system is also pretty inefficient as it stands, so it probably maybe a minute or two, maybe 2 minutes, a few minutes, maybe, let's say 5 minutes and put our heads in the same second. Okay.
Jordan question.
Yeah, we got a really big one coming in. He's discussing it. You got something to say?
So, is this going to be an actual question?
That station still got
What's the efficiency going from stored air energy to electrical energy?
If we were able to design a bit of better system, we'd probably get it pretty high. But as it stands, it's actually fairly low. This air motor isn't. It's not really built to a very good tolerance, I don't think.
I'd assume there's also losses.
Well,
in the system.
but what is the value for what you have?
The actual efficiency?
The actual efficiency, I would say, in this test, like this rig, probably somewhere in the, I would say, the 60s,
Yeah.
60%, possibly.
We didn't actually really focus on the efficiency as much.
Well,
as-
yeah, but your big thing was you could have a heavy battery
Yeah,
and it would work.
Or yeah,
Or you could have a tank.
That's one of the things. Another positive is that the air tanks take much less time to refill. So it might, you could with the efficiencies of this, you'd probably get as far as a normal battery with this supposed double energy density, but you'd be able to fill it up a lot quicker.
Where do you get 3,000 pound air?
At the moment, paintball stores, but it's not unfeasible to have something like that in your home.
Fire station.
Yeah. All right. You got
do a
it.
shot.
If you can get there.
Theoretically, the air inside of that tank should have the same energy density as the air inside of a scuba tank, so how does that make it any different?
quantity.
But it's still the
Because
same
you have to
energy
take
density.
into he
A
accounted
single
for
drop
the
of gasoline is the same density as the entire car tank's gas gasoline.
He took
Wasn't
into
even
account the
before.
weight of
So
the.
then why is it
He
different?
took into account the weight of the tank.
Okay, there we go.
So this tank is going to be less energy dense because there's more tank to air.
Makes sense. There we go.
2 for 4 on the questions.
Ian, how accurate do you think that what's really going on there? How is that different from your calculations?
My calculations assume everything is absolutely perfect. This is far less.
So what do you mean by absolutely perfect from
Where's this
thermodynamics?
LCD screw?
Like that?
As in, no pressure loss, everything's 100% efficient, in which case, it doesn't take into account, the transfer from, compressed air into kinetic for the turbine, into electrical for the motor, and all those losses.
And then back into kinetic for the wheels.
What's this?
What's-
Gauge look like an LCD screen. Is that on?
Disconnected because, as I mentioned, the pressure transducer is rated for 1,000 psi, and the sensors are easily exchangeable if you have a new one.
And this
When the
tank,
system moved to 3,000 psi, that sensor was no longer usable, and we did not have the budget to get a new one. So it is disconnected.
blame it on the microphone. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Is the tape holding it together?
That I didn't put the screws back in. Yeah,
Do
you're
not
right.
move the table.
I mean, it's just like a plastic shell around that. It's not really important.
Prototype.
This thing was resurrected anyway.
Yep. All right. If there's no more questions, then that's it.
All right.